Alright, so it's a rainy day here in central Oklahoma, so I am making governor springs. And I've got an original spring here. This is off of my Victor 4, the outside horn machine. And it had a couple mismatched springs. I think this one is an original, and this one was the one that was in the best shape. So I used it here on a scrap piece of steel, and I've drilled some holes, and I'll sort of explain what's going on here. I'm in the process of, I just made the second hole here. This is an old piece of mainspring out of a pocket watch. I don't remember what kind. But basically what I do is I decide how long I want the end of the spring to be there beyond the hole, and I punch that first. What I've done here is I have this drill bit that I used to drill these holes in the stump, and then I broke the end of the drill bit off and beveled it so that it made a cutting edge, and then I have it chucked into a drill chuck in the tailstock of my lathe. And so what I do is I simply run it up there and make the hole. And this is where the drill bit and the second hole come in. Because the holes are all equally spaced, this is a register pin. So I punch the first hole, then move it over here, then hold the spring to where the punch is going to be centered in the middle of the spring. Then I punch it, and then this makes the second hole the correct distance from the first. Then I retract the punch. I remove the drill bit, and this is something that's easier done with two hands than one. So let's see if we can put this in the tool post holder. Let me loosen the tool post holder up, and I'll put this camera in the tool post holder, and we'll that way I can kind of show what's going on here. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so then I'll take this drill bit out of the first hole that was made. And actually it'd be easier to go ahead and take this piece of spring off of the punch. Like that. And so I got it pretty well centered. Then we'll take the spring off of the drill bit here, and it's awfully tight on there. It usually hasn't been this tight. This one's tight. Okay. So now I have my spring here with the first two try to get the focus to come back. Probably won't because it's too close. I have the spring here with the first two holes punched in it. So now this middle hole that's been punched, I'll put the drill bit on it like that, and then I'll place it in the second hole there. And then I will line up the spring so that it is centered. So I just move it up there to where it touches it, and then I can look at it to see if it is centered on the spring or not, up and down. and we want it to be nice and centered there. Now the neat thing about doing this, now we'll punch it. There we go. Then there's 3 holes for the governor spring, just like it's supposed to be. Nice and tight fit. Okay, just like that. We'll take the drill bit out that was being used as a register. And so now we have a completed spring. You can see they're not perfectly, they're pretty good, pretty close. It'll work well enough. If I really wanted them to be perfectly centered, I could make some kind of a slot in there and to where it registers all the time. But this works well enough, and it allowed me to make a couple of springs very quickly and very easily, all the same. And so now I will take a pair of dikes and cut this right here to cut it off of the rest of the spring, and then that will complete the spring. And then I can put the governor weights back on and reattach it to the governor. But this is a very easy way to do it. You do not have to mess with heating the spring up or anything to do this. You just make you a little punch tip and a hole to go in the stump here, and just like that. So easy peasy, very, very nice to do this kind of thing. So there's a little tip for you all if you ever want to try to make your own governor springs, and you've got a lathe here. It's my old South Bend. Then this is the way to do it. At first, you'll see there's these 3 holes there. I was at first going to punch the spring, the holes, with a hammer and punch, and I decided it would actually be a lot easier because I could make sure that the punch was going to line up with the hole each time to just do it like this, and it's worked out really good. So I'm really happy with the way this has worked out. So I'm going to finish this up and try putting this back together. So this is Oklahoma Bridges, and we'll see you later.